So we have learned nutrition process in the last video. So when we eat food during the process of nutrition, that food is utilized in providing energy for different life processes in the body. And in various organisms, this process takes place in different ways. Some organisms use oxygen to convert the glucose into carbon dioxide and water, while some organism does not involve any oxygen. So in all cases, the first step is conversion of glucose into pyruvate. Okay, so the first step is conversion of a glucose, that is 6 carbon molecule, to a 3 carbon molecule, and this process takes place in cytoplasm. Okay, now some organism uses oxygen, so they use oxygen to convert this pyruvate into carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Okay, and this process takes place in mitochondria. And in this process there is involvement of oxygen. So such process, when there is involvement of oxygen, it is called as aerobic respiration. Okay. Now some organism, they does not use any oxygen. So when there is absence of oxygen, the pyruvate gets converted into ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. This is 2 carbon molecule, and this process takes place in yeast during fermentation. And such respiration, when there is absence of oxygen, it is called as anaerobic respiration. Okay, and sometimes when there is lack of oxygen, this pyruvate gets converted into lactic acid. Okay, and this is 3 carbon molecule. Then when there is lack of oxygen, this pyruvate gets converted into lactic acid plus energy. And this process takes place in our muscle cell. Okay, and because of this production, because of the production of this lactic acid, there is cramp in our muscle cell while we are running or doing some activities. Okay, now the energy released during the cellular respiration is used to synthesize a molecule which is called as ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and it is used to fuel all other cells. And when this ATP is broken down, the energy is used to drive away all the endothermic reaction taking place in the cell. Since the aerobic respiration depends on the involvement of oxygen, aerobic organism needs to ensure that there is sufficient intake of the oxygen. Now at night, the major event that takes place is carbon dioxide elimination by the plants. During the day, the carbon dioxide which is released by the humans is taken up by the plants for the process of photosynthesis. So no release of the or the elimination of the carbon dioxide, but only there is a release of okay. Now the terrestrial animals breathe up the oxygen present in the atmosphere. But what about the animals present in the water? So the animals which are present in the water takes the dissolved oxygen in the water. Since the amount of oxygen present in the water is low as compared to the oxygen present on the land or atmosphere, the breathing rate of aquatic animals is much faster than that of the terrestrial animals. Now, how does the fish takes up the oxygen? Fish takes up the water to the mouth, pass it to the gills, and from there the oxygen is taken up by the blood. So in human beings, the air is taken up by the nostrils, where it is filtered through fine hairs, and also that lining has mucus present on it. So from there the air is taken up in the throat, and then it is passed to the lungs. So first the air is taken through nostrils to the throat, and where from this it is passed to the lungs. In the nose there is fine hairs and mucus to prevent any dust. So in the throat there are rings of cartilages to ensure that the air does not collapse, and then the air enters to the lungs. Now within the lungs, the passage divides into smaller and smaller tubes, which then terminates into a balloon-like structure, which is called as alveoli. Okay, so alveoli provides a surface for the exchange of gases, and the wall of the alveoli is provided with extensive network of blood vessels. So when we breathe in, we lift our ribs, flattens our diaphragm, and our chest cavity becomes larger. And because of this, the air is sucked into the lungs, which fills the expanded alveoli. Now, the blood, it carries the carbon dioxide from the rest of the body and transport it to the alveoli. And the oxygen present in the alveoli is taken up by the alveolar blood vessels, which then transports the oxygen to the rest of the body. So during this breathing cycle, the lungs always contains residual volume of air. So lungs contains residual volume of air, means small amounts of air which is present in the lungs, to ensure that there is sufficient time for the oxygen to be absorbed and carbon dioxide to be released. And now when the animal size is large, the diffusion pressure alone cannot transport the oxygen to the different parts of the body. So it requires respiratory pigment. So in human beings, the respiratory pigment is hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin is present in red blood cells, which has high affinity for oxygen. Okay. Now the carbon dioxide is more soluble than oxygen. So the carbon dioxide is always transported in soluble form.